It is not the lack of love that destroys couples. And what if I told you that most relationships don't die in an argument, but in something far more dangerous, something silent and almost invisible? Stay until the end, because what you are about to understand may change the way you see all your relationships. At the beginning, everything is simple. Two people choose each other, two people seek each other, two people pay attention. Every glance matters, every message has meaning, every silence is noticed. But then, something changes, and almost no one sees it. It is not a breakup. It is not betrayal. It is not an event. It is a slow transformation, a drift. The Stoics would say this: what is not maintained with awareness will always fade away. Not because it is weak, but because it has been left unattended. At the beginning, we speak to understand each other. Then we speak to organize life. And one day, we no longer really speak. We only exchange information. And at that moment, the relationship changes its nature. Here is the trap almost everyone misses. It is not when arguments begin that a couple is in trouble. It is when arguments disappear, but presence disappears too. Because conflict, even painful, means one thing: I still care about you. But cold silence means something else. I no longer expect anything. And that is where the danger truly begins. Little by little, gestures become automatic. Responses become quick. Listening becomes superficial. We are there, but not really present. And no one notices immediately, because everything seems normal. We continue living together. We continue talking. We continue sharing daily life. But internally, something has shifted. And then one day, this thought appears. Silent, simple, brutal. I am alone in this relationship. And the most disturbing part is that this thought never arrives suddenly. It settles in. It comes from small things: a message ignored, an emotion minimized, a distracted look, incomplete listening, nothing serious. Individually, but together, they build an invisible distance. And this distance does something very specific. It turns love into habit, then habit into tolerance, then tolerance into exhaustion. At this stage, people do not leave the relationship. They stay, but without investing. They talk, but without depth. They share, but without connection. And this may be the most silent form of separation that exists. The paradox is this: couples do not die in violent conflicts. They die in the absence of emotional reactions, when nothing moves you anymore, when nothing disturbs you anymore, when nothing creates inner motion anymore. That is where the end begins, quietly, because a relationship does not die at the moment of separation. It dies long before, at the moment when one of the two begins to experience emotional loneliness inside a relationship of two. And from there, everything changes. We no longer nourish the bond, we tolerate it. And everything that is merely tolerated without being nourished always ends up disappearing. Here is the final truth. It is not the lack of love that destroys couples. It is the absence of conscious presence. Because love without presence becomes an empty form, and an empty form can last a long time, but it is no longer alive. So the real question is not, do you still love each other? The real question is, do you still truly see each other? And if the answer starts to become unclear, then the end may not be ahead of you. It is already happening, silently,